Hello and welcome back for episode 6 on Dad Energy SMP. As you can see, I've done a bit of work around the terrain around the base area, getting some terraforming done, trying to kind of get this all set up for, really getting that shape and the, ground layout that we want. Last episode, we got our creeper farm built up in here, so we got that down there. It's done pretty well, generating us some gunpowder to get all our rockets and everything. And in this episode, I do want to get to the sugarcane that we talked about, the sugarcane farm that we talked about in the last episode. But these chests all over the place are driving me crazy. So I think what we'll probably do first in this episode is get our storage building at least started. It's going to take a ton of quartz, but I want to at least get the shell of it built. The interior might take a bit of extra time, but at least we can maybe get our chests moved in and start getting a little bit more organized instead of just having all these chests out here out in the open. And the storage down below our starter house there is getting a little bit full, and I've had to keep adding chests to it. So I'd really like to just get the storage in place here, and I think maybe we'll try to find somewhere to include the nether portal in there maybe. Not totally sure yet on where I want to put that, but I thought maybe somewhere near the storage room might be a good idea, so we'll kind of maybe look into that. But I think definitely I'm going to try to get this storage building started. I think I want to kind of walk you through a little bit of the idea of what I want to do to start it, and then maybe I'll do some work and bring you back and show you kind of the initial thoughts on the storage build, the plan that I have. Gonna come in here and take a nap real quick first, though. Get these mobs away. Since I've been doing a bunch of terraforming, a lot of the torches that I had placed down up here are gone because I've been mining out some of the land. So we're missing a bit of our torches and our lighting over here. But yeah, so I think I'm going to get some of the stuff together and show you the beginning of the build that I want to put here. It's going to be kind of the main focal point when you walk in. You come between the towers and you see the big storage room right ahead there. So let me grab some stuff and we'll get started with that. All right, so like I mentioned, I just want to show you a bit of the start of kind of the shape and the idea that I'm going for here for the storage room build. I got some of the materials together. I still have more materials to get, I think, but I got a good chunk that'll get us started here. So I'm just gonna kind of walk you through a bit of what we want to do for the storage, or what I want to do for the storage building. Start putting a little bit of it up so you can see kind of the shape and everything, and then I'll probably just kind of continue on building the rest of it. That might just be something I even finish up off camera and just show you what we end up with, just because I know we've done a lot of kind of time lapsing with the buildings around here. So I wanted to actually show you a bit of the idea for this one. So it's gonna end up being a bit of a rounded shape that we're gonna be going for. So we're gonna come out this way here, and then it's gonna go up here and around and come back over. And on this side, we're actually going to have not really like a garage, but just like a, like an overhang type of thing, where the actual building itself is going to end kind of somewhere around here for the bottom half. And then there'll be kind of an open space here. And that's where I'm thinking potentially we could put the nether portal. I think, though, I also want to try to do some sort of like futuristic style vehicle in there. So we'll see. Maybe even it's like a vehicle coming out of a portal or something like that, which I think would be kind of cool. But we'll see what I can do as far as that goes. I need to get some stairs here because we want to round this edge up a bit. So we're going to come around here and it's going to start to go up this way. We're actually going to take this down though and do slabs, I think, so it's more of a gradual slope. So we're going to go up this way, and then we're going to go up again. Let's see. And then I think we're going to come up a few more blocks here and then come back around. We'll see, we can switch that out for a slab if we need to. We're going to come down here. So this is going to be kind of the shape. Yeah, I think we want to do slabs up here. Keep it more similar to the bottom. So we got this curved shape coming around the side, and then it's going to come back up. We're going to have this same shape, not down here on this side, because like I said, this side's going to be open. We're actually going to have some pillars. I think I can make some pillars. We're actually going to have some pillars over here on this side here. Probably actually a little further in, because that's going to be, I think, the edge of our building. So somewhere around here, we're going to have some pillars that come up a few blocks. And then this is going to connect over to the pillars. So that's going to be holding up an area here where we just kind of got an open space. And I think I'm going to swap this out for probably like the polished deep slate. So we're kind of sticking with this same color palette and block palette that we've been using throughout the base build. But this just gives you an idea of kind of the shape that we're going for. And then what we're going to do as well, that's the quartz, is we're going to have kind of a backdrop here of the polished polished deep slate. And then we're also going to include some of the lime concrete. I don't know if we might inset that one further. I'm not sure yet. So lime concrete, and then we're going to have, we've got the lime glass, and I'm going to get some green glass as well. I need to dye this glass. Some green glass as well. So it's actually going to be a pretty open front of the building here. It's going to be mostly glass with just the outline here of the quartz, and then the deep slate and the green lime green concrete, and that's going to come up and around. And then we're going to have a second layer that is the full size here, all the way out. It's going to go over the garage area and back around, but it's going to be this similar shape on the edges. So it's kind of two big ovals stacked on top of each other, except this bottom one's cut in half. So I'm going to get working on it a little bit more. Just like I said, wanted to show you the idea. I'm going to get at least the face up, probably just maybe the front side, so that you can see a better picture of what we're really going for. And then I'll bring you back in so we can take a look at it, and I'll continue getting this build put together so we can move on to the other stuff we want to do in this episode, mainly the sugarcane farm to mix with those, that gunpowder farm to get some rockets, auto crafting. I don't know if anybody's made a rocket shop yet, but if we have that auto crafting, that could be something we could sell is rockets, especially if it's just, automatically doing it for us. We just grab some rocket shulkers of rockets and take them over there and throw up a little shop. I think that could be a good way to get some diamonds, and also helpful for everybody else on the server who doesn't have a whole lot of rockets yet. So, all right, I'm going to get working on this, and I'll show you what we get. So here is the front side of the storage room, almost fully built up. I'm going to need to get a lot more end rods. I mentioned back when we built these towers, I kind of wanted to have some end rods going up the inside of those. I actually ended up using some end rods on this build as well. And so I'm going to need to get a lot more. I'll see if somebody's either selling them or have to do some end busting to try and get quite a bit more of those. But this is the kind of the idea of the storage room build. There are going to be some more of these end rods, light poles here. Those are going to go up in where you see all those gaps in the slabs up there. That's where the end rods will go up. So there'll be a few of them up there on the top layer as well. And then this will be that open section that I was talking about, where it's going to be like almost a garage area. And this will come all the way across here. But yeah, I just wanted to give you an idea of kind of the shape and the idea, and of course we're going with the same color palette with the greens and the blacks and the whites here for this building, and it is kind of right as you walk in, it's going to be kind of that main focal point. So I want to try to finish getting this built up so that we can move all of this storage into the storage building finally, and then get started on our sugarcane farm over here to get that creeper farm and sugarcane farm connected up and get that rocket factory. I haven't come up with an idea yet for a building. I think I want to do some sort of a almost a connected factory where we have the slime farm has a little bit of a building, and then over here the creeper and sugarcane farm has a little bit of a building, and maybe they're connected somehow, but I haven't fully come up with a design for that yet. So I at least want to get this finished up and then get the sugarcane farm started so that we got that done, and we can have our rockets just hopefully auto crafted. If I can figure out auto crafting the rockets, that might be a little bit of a project, but yeah, I think it's coming along pretty well so far. Definitely open to any thoughts or suggestions you have on it. I'm pretty happy with the shape. I think I need a little bit more details potentially, so I might have to work on that a little bit. But yeah, I'm going to try to finish getting this built up, and then that way we can move on to some other stuff. And we've now got the storage building built up here. The exterior at least is the majority of the way done. I do think I may still want to add some details. We've got, the end rods in there for some lighting and a little bit of detail there, but I think I want to add some additional details to it just to give it a little more, especially kind of on the sides. I'm wondering if maybe we can add maybe some piping or things like that on here, because it is a little bit plain on the sides. But I like the shape of it. It kind of gives that futuristic vibe, I think, with the curved edges and everything. The inside on the bottom floor here, well, the door, we just have a basic door so far, nothing fancy yet. I might look at trying to add in some sort of redstone door like we have in our starter building there. But for now, we're just using a basic door to get in and out. The bottom floor, I don't know that I'm going to do too much in here. This may end up being something with a little bit of storage in it, or it may just be more of like a utility. Maybe I'll put some furnaces down here, a crafting table, maybe a few chests for just things that I really frequently use, or maybe just valuables or things like that. Not quite sure what we want to do down here yet, but upstairs is going to be where the bulk of the storage is. As you can see, I've started moving some of my chests in. These were actually right in the way of where I wanted to put the build, so I started moving the stuff up here. And you'll also see that there's a lot of space on the back side of these chests, and the reason for that is because originally when I built the storage room or the storage building here, I was just thinking about doing just manual sorting for storage and just putting things away by hand. But as I was moving things in from all the chests that are around outside, and I still have a bunch more to do, I think it kind of got me more and more in the mood to be able to just automatically sort things and automatically store things. So I think we may end up going with an auto storage system. So I actually ended up extending the building. It was only about 4 or 5 blocks back here, but that wasn't going to be big enough for an automatic storage system. And so I ended up extending it back a little bit further to give ourselves some space back here to add in some redstone for an automatic storage system. And so what I'm thinking is potentially having like a shulker loader or unloader over here on this end. So I can just dump shulkers into a chest and have them automatically get unloaded and then get sent into the storage system here. And this can kind of extend all the way out. Debating still if I want to try to leave enough space here to send it across, make the storage go across as well, so I could have either just a full line back here of chests, or I can have it come down and then do a little corner here. But I'd have to leave quite a bit of space over here on this side. I think it's about 10 blocks, so 1 2 3 4 5 7 8 9 10. So it would only be able to come out to the chest would end up being like right here. So we'd have a very small actual space in here if we did the side. So I think I might stick with just one row across the back for now. And if we end up really having issues with not being able to store enough, then we can always either extend it out to the side, or even, you know, what we could potentially do is make some sort of bulk storage in like a basement area or something like that. But I can always end up just shulker boxing up some of the things that are more common, like stone and cobblestone and things like that, and just putting them in shulkers when things start to get full. So that might be an option as well. But yeah, we got the storage building built up here. I do still obviously need to do some work on trying to figure out the interior and the lighting. I've got some torches down just right now to make sure nothing spawns in here. We have a little bit of lighting from these end rods on the walls, but it doesn't cover all the way through the middle. So I'm thinking maybe we do some sort of like a hanging light of some kind. So I still got to figure that out. But yeah, so this is the storage building all done up. I do think I want to try to incorporate some oranges like we did with the our original kind of starter house there. I was thinking of potentially replacing some of the slabbing around with orange, but it kind of connects to the whole build, so I don't know if that'll really work out too well. So I was thinking instead maybe some kind of the piping and stuff like that we add on. I could add some piping in on the sides, and maybe we can do the orange like the acacia and the copper for that kind of stuff, and just some additional details around the outside. So I'm thinking that might be where we add in some of the additional color to it. But yeah, again, storage building all built up at least, so I can at least start moving all the stuff in there. Definitely want to get working on the sugarcane farm next, I think. So that'll probably be the next project that we do here. While I was getting this built up and getting all the materials and everything, though, we did also have an event on the server. There was a PvP event. It was just kind of a fun event for people to meet together in the mini game district, where there's a little arena that we had. So I'm hoping some of the footage is good from that. Again, it was another one of those things where a lot of people talking all at the same time, and we may not have gotten a lot of great, you know, usable audio out of it. So maybe it'll just be a few clips here and there, but it was definitely a lot of fun. We had a few battles, ended up having, I think, about 8 or so people show up to do some PvP and just have some fun as a community on the server. So that was great. And I'll try to show some of that here in just a minute. And then we'll probably get started on the sugarcane farm portion of the episode. All right, so we got our hole dug out here for where we're going to put the sugarcane farm. As you can see, it is right here next to the creeper farm. What I'm hoping we can do eventually is get the creeper farm drops coming probably up this side here, and then maybe even just have the sugarcane come up, you know, over here just another block or so over. That way we can meet them up at the top and be able to craft everything together into rockets, into paper, maybe save some of the overflow of gunpowder and sugarcane just to have some on hand as well. But I built up one section of the sugarcane farm that we're going to use. I believe this is a design by Tango Tech. I believe he actually designed this sugarcane farm a couple years back. Pretty simple design. It uses just a couple observers on each section. So we'll have this slice here, and then we can probably stack this up about 3, maybe even 4 layers, depending on how many we can fit in there. And we should have room to fit, I think, at least 3 across as well. So we should have a good number of these little slices here in this area. So that should produce a pretty decent amount of sugarcane. We don't need a ton because we do have the community sugarcane farm already as well for everybody else that's in the base area. But this is going to be more specifically for our rocket factory that we want to do up top with the gunpowder and the sugarcane, well, the paper that comes from the sugarcane anyway. So I think this will be more than enough for what we need it for. My plan overall with this is to send them both up, have a little bit of a building upstairs. I think I want to make it like a engineering building of sorts, you know, rockets, engineering, maybe even have a small kind of rocket type thing on the back of one of the buildings is something I was thinking about doing. And that'll be where all this sugarcane and gunpowder goes up and gets auto crafted into rockets. And then what I'm hoping to do as well is have an shulker loader and automatically have shulkers filled up with rockets, so that we can just come whenever our rocket box is empty, we can just come and grab a new one and switch it out, and we'll have, you know, rocket boxes whenever we need them. So that's the plan. This is the design we're using, so I'm going to just continue building this up. Probably try to get the whole thing built up here, and then we'll worry about getting the actual item movement, getting the items transported up from both the gunpowder farm and the sugarcane farm. And then I don't know if we'll get to it in this episode, but maybe in next episode. If not, we'll start trying to maybe work on the building up top, because I want to get that built so that we can start figuring out, I don't know, we may do the redstone first for just figuring out how to do all the auto crafting. That way we know what kind of footprint we need, but it might just be like a test thing we do up there, and then we can move into the actual building of the building around the farms and get all the crafting stations set up inside there. So yeah, that's kind of the overall plan, but I'm going to get working more on the sugarcane farm, and then we can see where we can go from there. Okay, as you can see, we've gotten a few layers now done of the sugarcane farm. I think we just got 2 layers up so far, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4 across, so 8 sections in total. If we need more, we can always add more going up higher. We got some space to go up a little bit further here still. Could probably fit at least 1, maybe 2 more layers in, but as I've been working around the base area, you can see we've gotten quite a bit coming in already. So I think that'll probably do pretty well for our current needs. But it's always expandable if we really need to make it bigger and get more input. As you can see, we've also got the gunpowder starting to overflow here. Let me clear this out a little bit. We gotta deal with the overflow. It's getting a little crazy. I'm gonna need to add in some overflow protection on these for sure, where we just burn excess items once it gets to a certain point. That way we're not having to clear this out quite as often, because that's a lot of gunpowder. Just toss that in there for now. Anyway, So yeah, we got the gunpowder and the sugarcane both coming up in the water streams now, so that we can get a building set up around this, and then figure out where these are just temporary. These will change once we figure out the building and where everything's going to need to route to do the auto crafting and everything like that. But yeah, I also got a little carried away with the redstone stuff. And as I was building the sugarcane farm, I was getting sick of going over to my little storage over there and having to come back and find cobble in these chests here. And then there were chests that I was moving up from the bottom of our storage building that were in the way when I built it. And so what I ended up doing is spending it's been about a day or two, building a storage system. So we've gotten a multi-item storage system up here. And then we actually have a bit of a basement area, which is not yet finished, that has bulk storage. So down here we have bulk storage. This will probably be expanded because, one, it's getting a little full on some items, but also I'm sure there's going to be other things that I want to bulk store in the future. And I may even bust out this side here and push it back and add some sides some chests on the sides and do bulk storage for farmed items. So maybe we'll split and have some of the gunpowder and some of the sugarcane come in and just be here for things that are not rockets, so we can at least have a storage of it. And then for other farms that we build, maybe if we build a bamboo farm or any other, maybe even the cactus farm, I don't know if that's too far away, but we could have excess stuff from there come into the bulk storage here as well. So I'll take you through a quick little run through of the storage system. So this is the multi-item storage system. I forget the name of it. The categorizer or the recategorizer or something like that. I'll have to link it in the description if I remember. But it's actually been tweaked a bit. I tweaked it a little bit because of my space constraints here. So I built the building first, of course, and then adding this in, there was some trouble with fitting everything that the full storage system had. I just didn't have enough space to do it. So the majority of this, we'll hop up back here. The majority of this from pretty much here, or I guess over here, back this way, is the base design of the categorizer storage system. And so this is a multi-item storage. So it's got filters where you can add in different types of items and they get sorted down through. It uses a mine cart that comes through and picks up the items, figures out which chest, which section they go in, and then they come back through. It drops them off here and they get filtered down based on which of the filters it selected from. So what is different about this one is kind of some of these extra things that I've added. So this here is the shulker unloader. So I can put shulker boxes in up here. The shulker unloader empties them out through this hopper chain here, and then the empty shulkers get put down here. And then this is for individual item input. So if I don't have stuff in a shulker, but I just have a bunch of stuff I want to toss in the system, I can put that in here. This is where any non-stackable items get returned to. And then, of course, like I mentioned, everything gets sorted out. So we got woods and we got plants and stuff and just stone types that are not bulk sorted yet. And then anything that overflows would come down to this side here. But back here, we also have a few other adjustments. So the shulker unloader is something that is in the main design, but it's kind of part of the core contraption back there in the main design that's in the tutorial. So what I did is I took just the base design and then added in the components that I needed, just wherever I could fit them or where it made sense. So the shulker unloader's here. It sends the items back through this hopper line. Right here is the filter for non-stackable items. So if a non-stackable item comes through this hopper, it'll unlock the hopper below here, and then that sucks it down and sends it to that chest over there that we saw. Everything else comes straight through and then goes into this dropper here, and it gets dropped down first through the bulk storage. So everything goes through the bulk storage waterway first, and that way anything that is bulk stored down there can get taken out and filtered into those chests. Everything that is not part of the bulk storage comes back up through this water elevator here and goes into the input chests up here. And then just another little addition that I had is, because I was having trouble with the system getting overflowed. So up here, you can't really see it, but up behind that chest there is a hopper leading into it from the water elevator. And there were items that were just stacking up on top of that hopper because both the input chests were getting full. And so what I did is I added a comparator off of the hopper in between the input chests. So when that hopper gets mostly full, it turns off the dropper. So this line down here, this little kind of janky redstone line down here, turns off the dropper clock. And it also locks the input hoppers. So both the individual item input as well as the shulker unloader input get locked from this redstone line that's coming off of that comparator there. That way, everything kind of gets halted until there's enough space in the input chest to continue. So as the items get sorted through, then more can kind of come through and get dropped down and come through the water elevator and everything. So far, I haven't had too many issues with it. There are some issues with originally, and the reason I had to add the kind of the redstone line that stops the hoppers, the input hoppers, is because the hoppers would end up getting backed up too much when the dropper got turned off, and we'd have a bunch of items coming down into the non-stackable chest. And then I do have still a little bit of an issue with the bulk storage. So some of the items can end up coming through too fast, and if they're not sorted anywhere up here and they're just in bulk storage, then they end up going into the overflow. It's not super common. Like the cobbled deep slate, I think, was one of them that I added a filter in, so any extra will come into this stone types section there. That way, even if it overflows there, it still has a spot to go in the storage system. I did also add a sky entrance. So on top of the building here, there's a way to fly in so that I don't have to necessarily go down through the bottom floor every time. If I'm just coming in for the storage room, I can just fly in through there and fly out through there if I can do it without smacking my head. But yeah, so this is our new storage system. It's been a huge time saver. The one thing I really still need to do is add a chunk loader. So on this server, we're allowed to have one chunk loader per person, and I think this is where I want to use mine. That way, if you're familiar with these multi-item storage systems, you know that if you're not here loading the chunks and you have things being sorted, it breaks very frequently. And so if I can add a chunk loader, probably just way down underneath the main base here, then I shouldn't have those issues. I can just load in tons of shulkers or tons of items and have it run while I'm doing other things. And with the amount of stuff I still have out there to run through this system, it's going to be a lot of auto sorting going on, and I don't want to have to AFK here for the whole time it's going through 50 shulkers or whatever it is that I need to deal with. So yeah, that's the other thing I've been doing aside from getting the sugarcane farm done. Big project, but definitely well worth it. I think I've run through almost 30 shulkers so far, just getting everything sorted out that was in the chests that were down here. When I was building the building, I moved all the shulker boxes, moved everything up there, and I'm pretty happy with having that done now. So I can just come dump items when I'm done with the project. And I'm glad we got the sugarcane and the gunpowder coming up to the surface now, a lot easier to access. some good progress been made so far, and some fun had in the PvP battles and everything like that. I do think, though, that's probably where we're going to end it off for today. Next episode, I think we might start on a bit of a new project. So, of course, I still want to continue work on the base. You know, there's a lot of stuff still needs to be done. A lot of terrain still needs to be fixed up. But I've been inspired by a mini game that was played. If you're familiar with Zedaf from Hermitcraft, he played a mini game recently on his Patreon server, and it was amazing. It was a super cool concept, and I'm really hoping that I can try to do something similar on the server here. So I think that might be something we talk about a bit in the next episode, and maybe even maybe not get started with it, but start planning and figuring out where it's going to go and some of the concepts that we're going to use in it. We'll talk a bit more about that, though, in the beginning of the next episode, so you can know what exactly we're doing. And maybe if you have ideas, you can tell them to me, because honestly, it takes a lot of creativity, and I'm not super creative when it comes to like storytelling. So any help is definitely going to be appreciated. But anyway, yeah, again, that's going to do it for us for today. Got our storage system up, got our sugarcane farm going. We're on our way to be able to get some more big projects done. So thanks everybody so much for watching. Have a great day, great night, great evening, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.